Buckle up, guys. This is a game against Jeffrey Traish in a Kings of War 3rd Edition Battle Report, Basileans vs Forces of the Abyss.
Hello there! I like to watch battle reports to get better at games. So I started making short, summarized battle reports that focus on learning points. So welcome to my channel, Newbie Dice. Do like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you enjoy my videos.
Welcome back, guys. This is against Jeffrey Traish. He's a very good player from Australia. I think he's top or second best, and he's consistently placing in top 3 in tournaments. And we have played against each other twice so far, 1 win and 1 loss for me. And now this is the 3rd game to settle the score. The previous 2 games are 2nd edition games, but if you still like to watch them, I'm gonna link it up on the top right hand side. Now, first to our list. I'm playing Basileans while he's playing Abyss. So for my list, I'm just gonna briefly go through a few points. So, used to play triple Paladin Foot Guards with 2 unit of Ogres, but I wanted to play a faster list, so I only retain 1 unit of Foot Guard. I wanted to have shooting elements, so I put Sisterhood Scouts, which proved to be useful to have a bit of a range threat in the game. I used to have a Wizard with Banechan and Lightning Bolt, but I find that my Wizard is too busy casting Banechan most of the time. And the Lightning Bolt, when it matters, is not enough to do anything significant. So, I have 2 Girl Panther troops as Chef. They move. The good thing about them, exclusively in the Basilean list, is their Nimble Speed 10 and their scoring units, so they can turn and move 20, which kind of covers the board a little bit. But they're pretty weak dice, easily to shooting, and even in combat, even flanking enemies, it doesn't do much. So this is something we'll see later on. I have 2 units of Paladin Knights to have that credible range threat, and if we're playing something with a central and 2 flanks, I will be able to split them up. I have 1 Horde of Elohai with Brew of Strength for that powerful range horde threat. And Elohai lost Nimble, so they are not as maneuverable as before. Next, I have 1 unit of Ogre Palace Guard to anchor the late game. For heroes, I have Abbas on Panther, that speed 10, be able to contribute combat almost anywhere, is very useful. Bearer of the Holy Icon, so I have an additional source of Inspiring and a second source of Banechan because I have a Priest with Conjurer Staff and Banechan below. I still like the Priest because he also has Heal. Heal 3 with the Conjurer Staff is equivalent to Heal 4 with a maximum of 3 wounds. And our Basilean Heal can get rid of Weakness and Hex, so that might come in handy in some games because Weakness is kind of getting quite popular. I do have a Nairs as well for that nimble flanker 7 attacks that can, because it's a scoring unit, it can double its attacks. So that's a total of 12 drops with 20 unit strength. So for Jeff, you can see that he has almost 3 of everything. 3 ghouls, 3 gargoyles, 3 tortured souls, 3 Morlocks, 3 warlocks, and 2 Harlequin blood mask. Another thing you'll notice is there's no items. Okay, and this list, everything except the Morlocks are pretty much usable as chaff, and the ghouls are pretty very value for money chaff. Gargoyles have that maneuverability. Tortured souls are also quite good. They do have a bit of offensive power, and they are cheap enough to be chaff, and they are quite hard to take off. Dash 14, no doubt defense 4, but they have life leech 2, and if they flank, they still put a bit of hurt. So Morlock is just to anchor with a charge after you have been chaffed up to do some damage to take you out. Okay, the Warlock is I've looked at the Warlock before with spells. With spells, they kind of feel a bit expensive, but Jeff taking them without any spells, so they do have a default 5 attacks with shooting attack as well. So this is his shooting element in the game, 15 shots, quite reliable. And so they're pretty value for money. They are all purpose. They are inspiring, they shoot, they can contribute to combat, and they can chaff things up because they're not individual. Harlequin Bloodmask is your individual on the horse. They are pretty value for money as well. So in total, he has a whopping 17 drops, which is very impressive for 2000 points, and a total of 27 unit strength, which is very high. So this is our deployment. We are playing Raise, and just in case you don't know what these pictures of units represent, I have labeled them. and I'm gonna remove them. If you ever find yourself confused, you can always come back and pause this screen. So this is how we deployed. And before that, let's talk about raise. What happened was he chose the bottom, and when he put 2 tokens on this side, I immediately knew that, oh dear, I have to fight more on the right side. And he put the last one all the way on the left, and me having less drop, I know that okay, there's no way I'm gonna be able to defend that. If I were to contribute significant forces to the left side, I will be too weak on the right side. So I decided to give it up. So my plan is to hold the center and get this 2. Right? So I deployed very heavily on the right side, so did he. And then after I finished my deployment, then he started to deploy to the left. And after he saw that I don't have much on the left, he just put 1 gargoyle to get it. Right? So my sisterhood also advanced, scouted up into the forest, but staying out of 16 inch of his charge. So top of 1, what I did was I moved this Girl Panthers. I decided, oh, maybe if there's only 1 gargoyles, I can sort of put up a fight. So I kind of fidgeted a lot, and in the end I turned and moved 20 inch up here. This is the best position I could get. I would have wanted to be on the hill so that I can threaten his gargoyle should he want to charge or come close to the token. But alas, I couldn't do it because there's an Abyssal Warlock here. I was very afraid of it shooting at my Girl Panthers. So when the way I move right now is out of 24 inch of this Warlock. Okay, and I want to roll off and took the first turn because I want to position very offensively. That will limit his options of unpacking his army, which is to move up into formation and layer his defense. So by moving up offensively, he would have a tough time and limited options in moving his army. So my knights also is not afraid of the Tortured Souls, because if it came in, I would just kill it in return, and hopefully his Morlock still is too slow to reach me. Okay, one small mistake I think I made here is I should have put my Ogre Palace Guard to this side of my foot soldiers, because if his Tortured Souls charged in, my Ogre Palace Guard I think would not be able to maneuver to double charge the Tortured Souls in return. So otherwise I think all's good. My scouts shot at the Warlock, and that's the only variable target, and dealt impressive 4 damage to it. Slightly above average. So in his return, he moved everything up. So basically, without this Girl Panthers to really threaten his gargoyles, he just moved up. And in fact, he is able to pick up the token without me able to see him. And if I come out to defend the token, he would charge me first, and I would have lost the eventual grind. So not a good option there. So this unit of ghouls stayed behind the hills because he doesn't want to be charged by the Elohai. And sadly, the Elohai losing Nimble, I couldn't turn around and charge fly 20 to pick up this token while staying out of this Moloch. Yeah, so let's look at the rest. So the options he gave me to charge were all the chaff. So the gargoyles, ghouls. The only thing that he gave me that was a better target was the Tortured Souls. And on hindsight, at the end of the game, he said maybe he shouldn't have offered this Tortured Souls. He could have kept him behind the fence, because that's what I took. So in my response, these were my charges. This Elohai thought, okay, I don't want to tangle with the middle here. I have my infantry to support the middle with all this grind in the forest. I'm sure that I would be able to defend. So my Elohai went for this Tortured Souls, and my knights went for ghouls. And the thing about this, how I realized ghouls are good, is this: when they have 14-16 nerf, defense 4. So when I charged in my knights into them popping the striding, it would still be 10.6 hits and about 9 wounds. That would also mean 8 to 9 wounds means I need 7 to 8 to waver, to route it. 7 to 8 twice is not very good odds, and once I roll below average in damage, that's even worse. So I realized for this 90 points, it could have a good chance of surviving a knight's charge, which was, wow, amazing. So on the other hand, so in the end, I didn't have other units to spare, so I still charged this knights in. For the right side, what I did was I charged these knights in, and these are more likely to kill because they have sharpness on them. They'll do an average of 11 wounds, so that's 5 twice to kill. Nails charge the flank of the gargoyles because the Panther can't reliably kill the gargoyles as well, and the Abbess decides to chaff up the Moloch. So all this went in. This Sisterhood shot at the gargoyles, dealt 4 wounds, which is could be expected because they have vicious. So it should deal about 3 to 4 wounds. That would mean I just need 6 to 7 ones to waver to kill it off, but I didn't get it. I only got a waver. And so because his Warlock was afraid after the first round of shooting, it went back. It took 4 damage. He ran away, hid behind the Morlocks, and healed 1. So I used this smiley face as a tally of things going my way and not my way. So the red sad face is things not going my way. That means it went well for Jeff, right? And then conversely, from this things going my way means things going badly for Jeff. So I put a smile tally on the side. So in this round, 2 things went my way and 2 things didn't go my way. So the Elohai was expectantly took out the Tortured Soul, so no need for smiley face there. So this knight did slightly above average and took out the ghouls here, so that's something going my way. But the better knights in return did not roll that 5 to rout the ghouls. It only rolled, I think it was 4. Okay, and my my Abbess with 6 attacks dealt 5 damage, which is something going my way a little bit. So I'm chipping it off a little bit. Now the Nails killed off the gargoyles, but I did the paladin combat first because if I killed, the knights would be able to reform. And let me draw it out, something like this, keeping everything in front, and then my Nails would be able to position something like this. But because it failed to kill, they're all stuck in this 90-degree angles here, and my Nails decided to face this way at the Tortured Souls, because if I face front, the Tortured Souls could flank me. So that's what happened. Let's move on. In response, let's look at from left to right. Left's a little less exciting. So the gargoyles expectantly took up the token and faced the other side. You can see that my Panthers decided to start to turn around from the previous turn. It's within 20 inch of whatever that might charge my sisters, but he did not charge his sisters. His gargoyles backed up and regenerated 3 in the process. So wow, I have to chip at it again. So next, the ghoul, seeing that my Elohai has already went the other way, it moved up safely to just stand on top of this objective. So the Tortured Souls charged at my Paladin Foot Guard. You can see that there's no damage in total because on average you have only 3 hits. It's hindered by the forest and you deal 1 or 2 wounds. 1 or 2 wounds with Iron Resolve means 0 or 1. So that's pretty much expected. Over here, the Warlock, after healing another 2, is feeling brave, coming out again. And so this was expected. The Moloch charged into the Elohai. So because my Elohai came here, I wanted the Knights to support so that I could have enough units to take out the Molochs, right? So it dealt just slightly above average. Instead of 6, it dealt 7. He has 2 units charging my Knights here. So the Warlock from the front and the Harlequin from the side, dealing probably 3 damage, healing back to 2 from the what do you call it, the Iron Resolve. So let's look at over here. On the right side, he quadruple charged my Knights, and it should deal an average of 8 damage, but he dealt 10 and wavered my Knights, which is slightly not going in my way. And on top of that, because my Nails decided to face the side, it should have faced the front on hindsight, but because it faced the side, now what happened is that he has nothing good to charge at, basically, because the Tortured Souls charged this way and I couldn't see it. And what did well for me over here with this double smiley is he should have dealt 10 damage and killed my Abbess, but he only dealt 7 and didn't even waver it. And on top of that, he did not regen any of his 5 wounds, which is important for later. So at this point, I already took 2 of the tokens because when I charged in so aggressively, I had more unit strength here. I had more unit strength here. So I took out both of the tokens. So next, my response. Let's go from left to right again. So the Panthers continue to shuffle forward while trying to stay away from this Warlock that has shooting. My sister shot at the 1 damaged gargoyles. It should do another 3 to 4, which means another just 4 to 5 to kill the gargoyles. I did above average in damage, but I snake eyes the nerf roll, so it is still alive and well and flying. And on top of that, my foot guard and ogres, my foot guard counter charge and my ogres charged these tortured souls, and I only dealt 4 damage and did not break it. So I need one more round to grind through this. But on the other side, this is looking very good for me. 1 charge from my Elohite Horde took out the Morlocks. I dealt 10 damage, which means I need 8 twice. So I would average 10 damage and I would need 8 twice to break. And I forgot how much I dealt, but I did roll twice and took it out. My Knights expectantly took out the Warlock over here and turned to face the Harlequin now that the Morlock is gone. And this Red Chevron man's Bane Chant, it received a Bane Chant from this loot over here. And so my Nairs actually turned to face this way because I wanted to face the Morlock Horde here and the Morlock Horde here, which you notice both are gone. This was killed by the Elohai, and this other unit was killed by this MVP over here. The Abbess charged the Morlock twice and killed it, dealing 5 damage, and rolling 8 to kill it. He did not regen, he did not break or waver my Abbess, so this was very lucky on my side. So, but then now my Nairs has nothing to do. It faced this way, and both the Morlocks die, and he has nothing to charge at again. So, on this right side, what happened over here? My Knights passed the Headstrong test, okay, and it received a Bane Chant from the priest behind, and it charged at the Harlequin. Was hoping to kill the Harlequin and then overrun into the ghouls to take both out. This is the Knights with Sharpness, so that is 13 hits. It should average about 6.5 to 7 damage. That would need 6 twice to kill it, and then I would kill the ghouls, but I failed to do so. I dealt 5 damage only. So this side, my Girl Panther has been staying back the whole game because it was trying to stay out of range of. Let me switch back to the pointer. The Girl Panther was staying back because he wanted to stay out of range of the Warlock, but finally when the Tortured Souls charged the flank, I came in. I thought a flank would do some damage, but it only dealt 2 damage, which is pretty much useless because they're gonna life leech it back. So there's a sad face for me. So bottom of 3, what did he do? The gargoyles that didn't waver, it flew 20 and picked up the token here, it regenerated some, and more importantly, I got nothing to deal with it right now. So, and it's gonna take the other token next. I'm gonna eventually lose this one for sure, but I didn't expect to lose this one, right? So, what's about the combat? Let's see. The Warlock charged into the Sisters, dealing 0 damage. A little bit unlucky on his part, but doesn't matter because I'm gonna charge him back and get him anyway. And what happened for here? The Tortured Souls charged the Ogres to chaff it up and dealt 0 damage, so a little bit of a smiley face for me. And because the frontage of them, the ghouls and they're the same, so it kind of allowed my Paladin Foot Guard to be able to charge. Now I'm wondering if the Tortured Souls charged the Foot Guard instead, would that would have blocked the. I think that might have blocked the Ogres from charging the Morlocks. So anyway, what's done is done. Let's see what happened next. So after I killed the Warlock and faced the side, the Harlequin is still here to grind me down and chaff me up. So I'm still stuck by the Harlequin, which is fresh. And then the Warlock charged the Panthers, and I think it should average about 2 wounds, but it dealt 4. And wavered me. If he dealt 2 wounds, it's a 7 to waver, so that's a little bit on the iffy side. But he dealt 4 and he wavered me. And so my Knights got finished off by everything over here. And they sort of turned to face. So my response, let's start from left to right again. So my Panther expectedly charged the flank with the front from the sisters, killed the Warlock, and it turned to receive any charges from these gargoyles over here. The ogres finished off the tortured souls while the Paladin foot guard charged at the Morlocks. It did a impressive 6 damage. That will make killing it off with the ogres a little bit easier because the ogres would be hindered charging in. Okay, next I charged at the Harlequin and dealt 5 damage. I had a Bane Chant, but yeah, 5 damage is expected, but I only needed 8 once to kill it. I was hoping to be a little bit lucky on the damage and the nerf roll for at least once, but no go. I still have to take one more round to kill off the Harlequin. So over here, I killed my Abbess, charged and killed off the ghouls, and overrun forward to be closer to everything, and he could fight anything later. My Nayas turned around and faced these 3 units, which once again he's gonna outmaneuver me. Let's start from the left side first. So the gargoyles that spent the first part of the game collecting the token now flew back here to provide additional chaff support so that he could defend this token, because looking at things it's really very obvious that he would have taken this token and now his priority is to defend this. So he's trying to put more forces on this side, conserve his forces. This is the bottom of 4, so his Moloch charged my Paladin foot guard and he only dealt 4 damage, so there's a smiley face for me. He would have dealt 8 and needed 9 to route it only once, so it's not very good odds, and but there is a slight chance, but he only dealt 4, so he couldn't break it. So next, the Harlequin continued grinding over here, and what happened over here, everything kind of ran away from Nayas, so Nayas had only this Harlequins to charge at. The Harlequin was the one that finished off the Panthers, and then this gargoyles that survived the double ones flew over here, pick up 1 token, flew over here and pick up another token. So this could be his MVP really. Okay, so my response, let's look over here. So because the Moloch didn't take out the Paladins countercharged with a flank but hindered from the Ogres, and also a Bane Chant on the foot guard from over here. The Priest Bane Chant, after they killed, they turn around and face this way. On hindsight, I'll talk about what I could have done later part. So here, let's talk about over here. My Knights finally killed the Harlequin and faced this way. I thought I faced this way so that I can support the left side, especially if there's going to be a turn 7. And then I only offered up the flank to the Tortured Souls, and I positioned in a way such that the flank would be hindered. So I'll have a very good chance of surviving this. And my Nayas killed the Harlequin, turned around, faced the rest of the forces. My Abbess is over here with that 3 wounds. He took out the gargoyles that picked up the tokens. Vengeance. So bottom of 5, let's look at what happened next. So it just stayed here. Of course, top of 5, what I did with my sisters is also I shot at them, basically. Okay, so bottom of 5, the Tortured Souls went into my flank. It's not hindered because he did a smart play of using his Warlock to kind of coax the charge position, such that it's not hindered. Even so, he would have only dealt 4.5 damage on top of the 3 already taken. 7.5. He needs 8, 9 or 10 to break me, but he managed to break it in one go. So top of 6, I moved my units upwards to threaten the last token. There's some combat happening over here, but it doesn't really matter anymore at this stage. My Panther came over here to be out of line of sight, but able to contest 1 unit strength onto this because he has a total of 2 on the ghouls and probably 1 from the gargoyles. And if I can get 3 from any one of these 2 units in, and on top of that with the Panther, I will be able to win this token. So what happened is I shuffled everything forwards. My Sisterhood scouts came out of the forest to shoot at the ghouls unhindered, and it dealt another 3 damage, and I did a lucky waver on it, which has a slight impact, which I will explain next. So because he's wavered, the ghouls has a limited reform potential. This red box is what it actually did. It turned around and faced the Panthers. This picture was what he showed me he could have done if they were not wavered. The position is not exact, but basically what he could do is only allow his gargoyles to be charged, and this ghoul will prevent the overrun from me contesting the objective. So that was what he was aiming for, and so the game ended at the bottom of 6. So it doesn't matter anyway. So the game ended in a draw because he took 3 tokens, 1, 2, 3 for 3 victory points. I took 2 tokens, 1, 2, and held the center for 3 victory points. So what I might have done on hindsight just now was that my ogres, after killing the Moloch, might have wanted to back up this way instead of facing the side, so that my foot guard could face this way and he could do a March 10 to contest the objective. If I turn the pictures a few pictures back, you'll notice that because of my ogres also wanting to face this side, my reform on my paladin foot guard is limited, and if I move forward this way, it will be out of 3 inch from the objective. If I were to let me erase this. If my ogres were this way and backwards, my paladin will be able to face this way and on the double 10 inches towards the objective, which might be a little bit more useful. So all this in hindsight, we don't know what could have happened anyway. But nonetheless, it was a very close game. Let's move on to the learning points. So first thing, checkerboard your second layer. That's talking about my ogres behind the foot guard. I should always checkerboard so that if my foot guard gets charged, I will always have a double charge back. As an Alpha Strike player, against Jeff mentioned that he's more of a counter punch player, and I'm more of an Alpha Strike player, so it's like fire meeting water. So as an Alpha Strike player, I do have to have a good Alpha Strike. So firstly, I position offensively to limit his defensive position potential, and hopefully that is enough that I will be able to get good Alpha Strike taking out units, and he will not have that much of good responses. So as a counter punch player, you want to try to position yourself to have very good responses, to offer chaff for them to charge and be out of position, have bad positions for them so that your second layer is in very good position to counter charge. So my knights, after charging in, they become very pillow fisted. Only the first charge was kind of devastating. After that, they're like flailing around. Both of them got stuck on the Harlequin, so which is pretty sad. Even with Bane Chan, I couldn't take them out. So I'm not sure if I could spare points for other fast elements. Maybe I want to swap one knights for ogres instead, maybe giving them a boost of haste to be at least speed 7. That's something to think about. So next, position units to have multiple good options. I'm talking about my Nayers over there flailing, turning around, seeing nothing the whole game, pretty much. So, but that's also good play on Jeff's part, that he maneuvered things out of charge arcs. So one last takeaway is, before that we have this piece of learning point, which is to keep your chaff safe until they are needed for use. So like me and my Panthers, I kept them out of 24 inch of Warlocks until they are needed. And for him, his gargoyles deployed starting at the back of the field, and he flew up to chaff or flew up to take objectives. And lastly, this is a piece of insight and epiphany Jeff gave to me, was that Bane Chan is good, but it's not like godly. It is an average of 2 more wounds for 12 hits. Why 12 hits? That's we're talking about units with 18 attacks hitting on 3s. That's my elo high and ogres. So it's only 2 more wounds, so it's not like a lot more. So which is why I'm going to talk about list changes. This was a suggestion from Jeff, which I'm going to try, which is to swap out my barrel with loot for an Abbess on Panther. So a Panther with 6 attack is also probably going to contribute 2 wounds, and it's another piece on the front line that's helping with the peace trait, rather than a barrel with loot is just sitting on the backfield, just providing that support. Of course, it's no more points. And next, Nayers, I'll change it to a elo high. Because Nayers has 7 attacks, elo high has 6, but elo high has Dread to make up for that missing 1 attack, at least from the front charge. Okay, but Dread has the potential of affecting more combats, and on top of that, affecting combats without being in combat. So if like my Neos have been wandering around not doing anything, the Elohai could have flew into position to at least contribute the dread. And of course, being flying, it could move out of the forest without being hindered, and so it could add the double. And yeah, so the Elohai has mobility and dread, which is more offensive, while Neos is more defensive with that 15-17 nerf. So in order to fit these two things which cost more, I have to downgrade my foot guard to man at arms. I really like the foot guard because they do have that elite defense 5, 15, 17 nerf, but alas, I need to sacrifice the points to have more focus in my offense. My 2 units of Panthers, I'm thinking of swapping to an Elohai regiment because the Panthers are really pretty weak. They're only good at moving across the board, but they're so allergic to shooting, and even when they charge things in the flank, they are not very liable for damage. So Elohai would have that combat and staying power, and yeah, Elohai regiment on the flank is equivalent to a horde, so they do have that force to be reckoned with. In an effort to conserve points also, I think I would swap the sharpness into Pathfinder. Pathfinder is a little bit more consistent in situations, especially if I need to charge into forest. And sometimes I charge into a forest onto Chaff, and then they just leave me be because they know that I'll have no more Pathfinder if I'm using Jesse's Boots of Shrining. I'll have no more Strider to get unhindered charge into his main forces. Whereas if I have a Pathfinder, he will have to deal with it. So I've been telling Jeff about lower abyssal hordes with sacrificial imp. It's a 56% regen. So I think he's gonna try it in his next list. It does have that staying power, and with regenerating half your wounds with so much nerf, you have the chance of surviving another round of combat. So that's all for this battle report. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you do like, subscribe, and click the bell icon for notifications for my YouTube channel. I'll see you in the next video.